What up, Vibers? It's your boy Kai. Welcome to another episode of the Vibe with Kai podcast. I have a question for you. Have you ever felt like the people in charge just didn't believe in you anymore? That sinking feeling when you realize that despite all of your hard work, all of your dedication, you're just not being valued the way that you once were, or at least the way that you deserve to be. If you've ever felt that way, I want to tell you, you're not alone. You're not alone. And I want to share my story because looking back, it taught me probably some of the most valuable lessons of my entire career. So, I want to start off by talking about the moment that I realized things had changed for me at my job, my old job. Um, when I first started working at a digital marketing firm right outside of Philadelphia, I was full of so much energy and hope. I was um, I was hired as a social media specialist back in 2018, and I wouldn't say that I was just another cog in the machine, right? Because I definitely wasn't. I felt valued, but it was a big dream job that I had working for a marketing agency that had hundreds and hundreds of clients that we would oversee every single day. Um, and I was lucky enough that I quickly moved up the ranks within this organization, and I eventually became the social media director. And from there, I eventually was promoted to being the executive director of paid media. And for the longest time, I felt as though, honestly, I was on top of the world. Like I was truly making a difference, and that I had found a place where I could build a long lasting career. But then things kind of started to shift. I'll never forget the day um, when I realized that something had truly changed. It was in 2023, and I would say probably there was a person that was going to leave the organization, somebody that I valued deeply, somebody that was honestly the best employee that I had, somebody that I took in under my wing and was mentoring. And this person had found another job and was going to leave for this job. We all wanted them to stay. I wanted them to stay. Upper management wanted them to stay, and we had to do anything to make that happen. So we convinced them to stay, obviously by giving a pay increase, and we gave them the title of social media director, which was the title that I had at the time. And so to keep things balanced, that person was promoted to social media director, and I, who was the social media director, was promoted to executive director of paid media, which was a new role that was created just for me. And it was a very exciting moment for me because in this position, I got to oversee the social media director and the director of what they call PPC, which is pay per click. This is the team that overran that ran the Google Ads side of things. So I got to oversee the social media side. So the people that did the ads on Facebook and Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all that, and I got to oversee the person that oversaw the PPC team. And it was a very very exciting moment. But it was a position that they created specifically for me. It wasn't a position that they had created before. And I was really excited, but I'll tell you this, I'll be honest with you. The moment that I started in that position, things kind of always felt a little bit off, right? And the reason that it felt off was because there was this gray area of uncertainty. You know, as I stepped into my new role as executive director of paid media, I quickly realized that no one really knew what to do with me. Like, sure, I had the title. Um, I think that looking back at it, I think that upper man, and I don't know this for sure, but this is just my guess, that upper management um, gave me that title, but it didn't carry as much weight as I guess originally intended. I don't know. It just felt off, and I felt as though there was just too much of a gray area, and nobody really knew what I did within the organization, including upper management. Like, sure, I had the title, but there was no clear direction. There was no defined goals. There was no real guidance. I didn't have anybody to look up to. I didn't have anybody, honestly, to even report to. Nobody really knew what I did or how I did it. So I just ended up creating my own path. I gave myself my own goals. I gave myself my own things to shoot for, because I didn't have a predecessor, because this role was created specifically for me, and I didn't have anybody, honestly, to report to, and nobody was giving me any sort of direction. Like, I didn't even have a yearly review. I was there at this point. This was in 2023, I think, and I had been there at this point since 2018. So I'm like 5 years into this. 5 years in, never have had at that point a yearly review with anybody. And like, and the thing was, it's like, okay, even if I did have a yearly review, there's no telling who would have done it, because nobody oversaw my day to day. I legitimately had to create my own tasks, my own thing, which in a way was kind of freeing, because it's like, okay, well, there's no really, there's no real expectations here. I can kind of do what I want, as long as it's something that helps the team get better, as long as it helps the company get better, as long as it keeps the client satisfied. So that's the way I went about it. And I'm a company man, so I would have done anything to make that company rise, and to help our clients rise, and more importantly, help my teammates rise. I would have done anything. So it wasn't honestly about the title for me. It was just that I really didn't have any direction, no goals. I felt like I was always in this floating gray area. And I think what bothered me the most is that I was unsure of what success looked like in this new position. And that feeling of uncertainty, it only grew over time. It just kept growing and growing and growing. And now I'm not one to shy away from challenges. In fact, I honestly, I thrive on them. But it's hard to stay motivated when you don't know if what you're doing is even being noticed, let alone appreciated. I'm not the kind of person, like, you don't have to hold my hand. You don't have to say, "Hey, good job, Kai. You're doing great." Like, I don't need that. Um, but like, I am human, so like every now and then, like, "Hey, nice work, Bucko." Like like one of those would have been great. I never had that. I never got that. Um, ever in this position. But I kept going. I kept pushing it. And I wanted to find ways to validate myself, because I felt as though I wasn't getting validation from anybody else, outside of my teammates and the people that I work directly with, my clients, and all that. And to make matters worse, um, like, I talked about how I hadn't received a yearly review. At that point, I hadn't even received a raise. I was working for not a lot, not a lot. And luckily, I was, I'm a content creator, so I felt comfortable working for less than what I thought I was valued for, because I was making up for it with the money that I was making from, Instagram and TikTok and Facebook and all these other platforms. I was making up for it in that. And so, like, I was willing to, like, take that pay cut. So, like, in my brain, I'm thinking, okay, I think I'm a pretty badass employee. I think I'm pretty good. I'm well liked within the organization, within, everybody on the floor. I work hard. I feel as though I brought a lot to the table from a marketing standpoint, because I'm a marketing nerd. So, like, I wanted to introduce things that that company had never really thought about before. the way that everything was set up, it was very siloed. And I wanted to find ways to bridge the gap between all of those silos, because I knew that the struggles that we were having was because of our siloed approach to marketing. We didn't have any sort of focus on the customer journey. And I'm not going to bore you all with marketing mumbo jumbo, but having a solid, streamlined customer journey is the most important thing you could ever have. It's like the number one marketing 101 thing that you need. And so like I just wanted to do my best to try to bridge the gaps in between those silos. So that's like I felt like I brought a lot to the table, and it honestly, it wasn't about the money or the recognition or the acknowledgement. Like I was a company man. Um but there is something about feeling valued and knowing that your hard work is recognized. I read this poll from Gallup, and it said that this was a poll done in 2023, and it said that 63% of employees feel unrecognized at work, which can lead to disengagement and even burnout. And I was starting to feel that way. It was quite often that myself and a couple other employees, we would be the last ones in the office because we just were working hard. We had close to like 500 clients that we had to take care of, and not enough time in the day. And we didn't have the processes in place to really push for our success as marketers. So we would stay late because we wanted to make sure that our companies, or that our clients and our company and our employees, our team were set up for success. Um, so all of this is going on, but let me tell you what the final straw was for me. This is when I realized that, oh no, I don't think I'm a part of this company's future. I don't think they view me as a part of their future. The final straw came when, I wouldn't say it's the final straw, but it's definitely the tipping point. It came when one of my colleagues was going on maternity leave, and this colleague led a team of people and this team of people consisted of people from multiple departments. And like I was in charge of two departments, right? The social media team and the PPC team. And the person that was going on maternity leave was an executive director that oversaw multiple people from multiple departments. And I'm like, okay, well, I want to streamline I want to bridge the silos here. This is a really cool way to do that. I'm in like all of these people I work with closely. And this person was going on maternity leave. So I'm like, okay, this is a perfect opportunity to prove myself. And so I wanted to step up and lead the team. And I remember telling uh, one of the people in upper management, I said, "Hey, this is something I really want. Like I've been here at this point for 5.5 years. I really think that this position that's going to be open would be a really cool testing moment for me, because like the person is going on maternity leave, but they're coming back. Like they'll be back, and they just need this team needs a temporary leader." So I'm like, oh, this is a great, perfect opportunity to do this. So I presented myself to upper management. I'm like, hey, I really want to do this. And every like pretty much everybody that was on that team wanted me to step up into that position as well, because I already had a good rapport with all of them, because a lot of them they were great marketers, but they were new. A lot of them were new to the organization. A lot of them were young, but they were talented. And I'm like, oh man, this would be a really cool opportunity to like mentor and work with these people, to have somebody that they can go to that knows this organization, that knows marketing, that knows how it works. So this was a perfect opportunity to me to show upper management what I got. And it was at a point that not only did I uh, present myself as a potential temporary fill-in, but the people on that team, they liked me. They had already started coming to me with questions and comments, concerns, and stuff like that. Like I was already handling a bunch of stuff like that. And On top of that, the person that was going on maternity leave, like we had set up meetings to like go over things about like how, they run the team and how, this works and how that works and so on and so forth. So if at that point, before this person went out on maternity leave, if anybody was prepped to take over this team, it was me. Like I was ready to go. Uh, like I was so excited for this opportunity. Um, then finally, when the person went on maternity leave, um, I kind of like unofficially um, took over, right? Because, and I say unofficially because at no point was it ever like, "Hey, Kai, you are the lead of this team." But everybody knew that I was already, the go-to person there, and and this is my fault for assuming that upper management was just okay with it because they didn't say anything. Again, they never talked to me. They never gave me any sort of constructive criticism. They never told me anything that I was doing right or wrong. They let me do me. Like I had no direction. I had no guidance, nothing. Um, so I'm like, well, I've been carving my own path for the last 2 years. Let's do it. Let's rock this out. And so I just started, and then a week or so into me kind of unofficially doing things, upper management said, "Hey, pump the brakes there, kiddo. Take a step back and focus on your other stuff." And I'm like, "Focus on my other stuff? Like, do you even know what my other stuff is?" you know, um, and like, I stand proud of the fact that the work that I had done on the social media team, and made the social media team one of the, if not the strongest team within the organization. I had like little to no turnover for any of the teams that I had overseen. Um, and I was able to pass along the team to another person that they were able to take the team even further. And that was based upon like the things that I had created for the team. And I was in the process of doing the same for the PPC team. Um, like things had turned around. Things were turning around. Things were going like, were they perfect? No, not at all. but but we were doing good, and I felt as though I was good enough to handle this workload. Um, but the upper management, they told me to step back, and I did. They told me to stay in my lane, and not to take any additional leadership opportunities or roles. And it stung because, again, at no point did they ever give me any sort of direction, or I'm sure they had their reason for telling me to step back and stay in my lane, but they never communicated it to me. It stung. It felt like I had been put in this box and I had no room to grow. And it became clear to me that perhaps, and I don't know this for sure, but this is how it came off to me. It felt as though I wasn't a part of this company's future. Like they did not view me as a part of the future. Like I felt as though if there was any opportunity for me to grow with this organization, this was the time. And everybody else thought it. I thought it, except for upper management. Um, Looking back, I realized that these feelings of being overlooked and undervalued, they weren't just about my career. They were about my self-worth. It's easy to tie your value to your job, especially when you're passionate about what you do. But here's the thing: your worth is not defined by your job title or how other people see you. It's defined by who you are and what you bring to the table, no matter where you are. Whenever I go and do speaking engagements, I always talk about internal definitions and external definitions. Internal definitions are how you define yourself. External definitions are how you allow other things to define you. Self-worth. It's not defined by your job title. It's not defined by how much you make. It's not defined by how other people see you. It's defined by who you are and who you define yourself to be. That's one of the biggest lessons that I've learned from this experience. I learned also the importance of advocating for yourself. So if you're listening right now and if you ever find yourself in a situation where you feel undervalued, don't just sit in silence. Speak up. Ask for feedback. Request reviews. And make sure that your contributions are being recognized. There's another survey that I read from Office Vibe back in 2023. And it said that employees who ask for feedback are four times more likely to feel engaged at work. So the question now is, okay, well, this happened. What will I do differently in the future? Well, if I ever find myself feeling this way again, I'll obviously handle it differently. I'm not going to sit here and say that I'll put all the blame on upper management here, because I think I could have handled myself different. I know I could have. I'll definitely handle it differently. First off, I'm going to always make sure I have an open conversation with upper management to understand where I stand and what I can do to align better with the company's goals. And if I don't get the clarity that I need, I will say so. I will say, hey, I'm still not sure. Can we talk about this? Because I want to make sure that I'm doing this right for you, for this business. And that's when, once you have that clarity, that's when you can decide whether it's time for you to move on or if you want to stay or whatever it may be. Like, listen, life is too short to stay in one place where you feel like you're not growing or you feel like you're not being uh, appreciated. Life's too short for that. I'll always make sure as well to I'll always make sure to keep my professional development at the forefront. What do I mean by that? What I mean is that uh, I'll always be seeking out opportunities to learn, to grow, to expand my skill set, whether that's through workshops, certifications, or finding a mentor, whatever it may be. Because it's important to remember that your career, no matter what industry you're in, it's a journey and it's okay to take control of it. And lastly, I'll always remind myself, I'll always remember to stay positive. It's really easy to get caught up in the negativity when things don't go your way. But maintaining a positive outlook can make all of the difference. According to the Harvard Business Review, employees who focus on positive thinking are more likely to experience job satisfaction and overall well-being improvement. So don't take it from me, take it from science. So what can you get out of this? Listen, I got some actionable tasks for you. If you ever felt undervalued at work, I want you to take a moment to reflect on your situation. I want you to ask yourself 3 questions. Number 1, are my contributions being recognized? Number 2, do I have clear goals and expectations? And number 3, am I growing in my current role? If the answer to any of these questions is no, it might be time to have an honest conversation with your superiors or your supervisor or upper management and see where things stand, or possibly consider new opportunities. Because, like, never forget, you deserve to be in a place where you are valued and where your work makes a difference. Now, with all that being said, I always move forward with gratitude. I really do. Despite the challenges that I faced at my old job, I'm grateful for my time at that company. It taught me invaluable lessons about leadership, resilience, self worth. I met some incredible people, some of whom, like, I will love nearly and dearly for the rest of my life. Like one of the people that I oversaw. Like I went to their wedding. I was invited to their wedding. Went to their wedding, like the most special day of their life. They invited me to. Another person that I worked with there, like they were my roommate for 2 years during the pandemic. 2 years. A lot of the people there and the experiences there, they shaped who I am today. And while my journey there may have ended, it was just the beginning of a new chapter, a new era, one where I'm more confident, I'm more self assured, and I'm ready to take on whatever comes next. And honestly, leaving that organization couldn't have happened at a more perfect time because there was at that time a major shift in my life all around. Like I was moving on from there. I moved out from my old place that I had been living for 4 years. I got a new home that I'm recording this in right now. There's so many new things that are happening in my life. All of this happened at one time. My career as a content creator has I've just been so blessed to have so many cool opportunities as well. Like this is a new era for me, and I'm just so thankful for the things that I've learned over the last 6 years at that organization. So, this is my message to all of you that are listening or watching right now. If you ever find yourself in a similar situation, I know this is cliche to say, but I mean it. You're not alone. And just know that it's okay to feel disappointed, but it's not okay to stay there and live in that disappointment. Keep moving forward, keep advocating for yourself, and most importantly, never forget your worth. With that said, my friends, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. As always, much love, good vibes. I'll talk to you later.